Hi, my name is Raymond Stapleton, and I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about a new product that I just got in. It is the Dragon Touch M8 tablet, and I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. This is the box that it came into, and it appears that it's going to have a white background on it with a black ring around the front. It says it is a quad-core Android, obviously, IPS screen. Now, IPS screen I've not seen before, but apparently it gives you a wider viewing angle so that if somebody's off on the side and wants to look at it, then they can look at it. Has dual cameras and Wi-Fi. Now, the side popped opened already. But look on the back here. We can see that it is in English. It is a quad-core, as it says, 1.3 gigahertz. An 8-inch tablet with or a screen, I should say, with a 1280 by 800 pixels, 1 gigabyte of RAM, 16 gigabytes of storage, front and rear camera. It doesn't say what size those cameras are, so that'll be interesting to find out what pixel strength those are. Micro USB, HDMI, reset button, which is probably important if we need that. Micro SD TF card slot, headphone jack, mic, power, and volume key. Well, since this is already open, we'll just make it a little easier to get this out. Set this off to the side. In just a second, I'll open the box. Okay, this is the inside of the box here. We have a card that says stop, so it must mean that's important. It basically is telling me that if I have any questions, I can contact the manufacturer. It gives me both a number for the United States, well, no, it's actually an overseas number, and email addresses, which one's for the United States and one's for the United Kingdom, so overseas. Looks like a manual, user's manual here. So that should have some really interesting information in it. Then, of course, the tablet itself. Protective ring around that. And I have my cables. Okay. We unwrap the tablet. It has a protective screen on it, and with the lighting here, I can't read a thing that's on here. So I'll try to read it here. Basically, it's just giving me standard operating information and telling me I need to charge it before I put it to use. The tablet itself is very lightweight. If we take a look, there on the left-hand side of the screen is the micro USB slot. We also have the HDMI slot. Now, this doesn't look like a micro HDMI, and it's not a full-size HDMI, so it must be a mid-size HDMI. There's a little reset hole there. Then we have the card slot, a headphone jack, and then, of course, the microphone jack. Turn it over here, and we'll take a look at the back. On the back, we have the camera, and it says Dragon Touch. I like the little dragon there. And then at the bottom, we have what looks like probably the speaker slot there. And it tells us that it is a quad-core, 16 gigabytes, where it was made and the manufacturer. And on the front, it's probably not going to show up, but we have the camera. Okay, we're continuing along with this review, and I wanted to show you the screen. This is what the screen looks like after it's been populated with applications. I did insert the 32 gigabyte micro SD card that I have into the tablet, which is great, and it allows me to be able to do a number of things that as far as storage that I haven't been able to do on other tablets. One area that I want to point out is off to the left side of the screen at the very top. All I did was swipe down. You can see the percent remaining on the battery, the fact that it's charging, what apps I happen to have opened up, and that I'm connected to various devices such as the computer right now. If I want to clear some of those up, just hit that series of lines that was up at the top corner there, and everything will be fine. On the far right-hand side, if I swipe down, I get to see other things that are available. Again, battery power, settings, Wi-Fi mode, and I can turn these things on and off right from that location as well. Kind of in the center is a button that will bring up the menu or the settings, and there you can see that you can turn the Wi-Fi on and off. You can turn the Bluetooth on and off. Data usage, under more, you can have airplane mode, tethering and portable hotspots, VPN, which I've never played with yet, USB internet. This allows me, I believe, to take and tie into my computer's Wi-Fi and be able to use it through the USB cable. Or maybe I can share this Wi-Fi with my computer. I'm not sure which yet because I've never played with that yet. Various audio profiles, which are kind of nice because I can change the sound of things. It does have an outdoor mode, which allows it to be very loud for when you're outside. Your displays. Now, one thing I did notice is when I was adjusting the brightness, as you can see, it does not change the brightness of the screen at all. I don't know why. There is a cast screen down at the bottom. Cast screen is so that if I happen to have a Roku device or a Google Chrome or something like that on my TV, I can actually transmit to that and be able to have my screen show up on those devices. Under storage, since I've added the 32 gig micro SD card in there, I have two options, USB or SD card. I see right now the total space that I have available on my SD card is 23 gigabytes left out of 29.7. If I scroll down, I can see the internal drive, which has a total of 13.18 or 13 gigs after the operating system is taken over. And below that, it says that I have 6.7 gigs of storage space free on the internal drive. I also can look at the battery information and see how long it's been charging and if there's anything that's been running, and it's not been on for very long, so that's not a problem. Under apps, I've got all the applications that I have installed, and then I can look at details about those, turn them off, uninstall them, I should say, force them to stop, turn off notifications if I don't want notifications, and see some of the permissions that are set for those particular apps. Pretty standard on most Android devices. Okay, under here I've also got location. I can set up to have Google location set up. I've got security. And one thing I liked about the security was that under slide or under the type of locks, I can either choose none, I can choose slide, voice lock, I can do a pattern, pin, or a password. Now, if I want to be able to also encrypt the tablet, which is slightly lower on the screen there, I need to have a pin or a password in order to encrypt my tablet. If you're going to be installing applications from your computer to your tablet, otherwise known as side-loading applications, you need to make sure that the check mark is checked next to unknown sources. If you don't have that, you will not be getting those installed very easily. A few other things here is a language input. You can back up and restore. You can see what accounts are available. You can adjust the date and time. You can even schedule this thing to turn itself on or off. Under that particular option, I could tell it that at 9 p.m. every night when I go to bed, I want it to shut off, and then at 6:30 in the morning, I want it to come back on. It's kind of nice. It saves on battery power and keeps things going properly. Under printing, I have installed Print Share. Otherwise, nothing would show up there. But I have not yet configured Print Share. But I could have different printing services there, and it shows up in that location. Developer options would be the next thing I'd look at. One other thing is, in order to obviously be hooked up to a computer and utilize things like I'm doing now with the video recording, USB debugging has to be turned on as well. Okay. Now, if I look at the screen, it obviously looks pretty bright. It is bright. It stays bright. I was able to install a number of different software programs on here. One that seems like everybody is able to install, run, and play is Angry Birds Star Wars. I haven't yet come up with a tablet that hasn't been able to run that. This one runs it with no lags, no freezing up. The gameplay is smooth, just like I expected to be. I haven't had any problems with it. And it is a fun game. My grandkids love it, as well as me. And I'm going to turn the volume down. There is a volume control switch at the very top of the tablet, or you can slide across with your fingers once you've brought it up. That way, when the music comes on any particular game, it won't be too loud. Batman Arkham Origins also runs on this tablet. I've tried to run this game on my computer. On my computer, I have to set the settings all down to the lowest possible settings. On here, there aren't any settings changes like that I've seen. And it does seem to run fairly smooth without a lot of trouble. One thing I've noticed on some of these games that are fairly graphic intensive, it does take a few moments to actually load up. But other than that, not a problem whatsoever. Okay. Now, some of the other games that I've noticed is that Clash of Clans, which you see right down here at the third row towards the left, it does run. It does run very, very nicely. I haven't had any problems with that at all. I've installed one game that I know that the owner of Dragon Bloggers really likes, and that is Hearthstone. It does tell us that this tablet is not quite supported by the game, but it will run. Once I turn things on, this particular game will run. It does take a very long time to boot up most of the time when I've tried it, so I'm not going to sit here and take that time, or we'd be well past anything that was reasonable for a video. I will tell you, though, that once it loads up, the gameplay is quick, easy, and no troubles whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and turn that audio back up for a moment, and I'm going to open up an application, and it will probably appear to you in the video like it's sideways. I don't know if this video will automatically adjust for the direction of the screen or not. Let's see. No, it does not. The only reason why I wanted to bring that up was because the built-in speaker on this device is pretty loud. I mean, I've got it kind of partly covered up by the fact that I have it in a case. Okay, continuing on here. I did a lot of benchmarks while we were doing this. To me, that just tells me basically that the applications work, the tablet runs smoothly. To me, being able to do some of the unexpected things is what makes a tablet or any computer actually special. As you can see, an emulator such as an old Macintosh computer does tend to run fairly smoothly. No, it is not the most wonderful thing in the world, but it's the only emulator I've tried on the Android tablet here. One other very graphic-intensive game is the Dead Trigger 2, and from what I've seen, it plays pretty smoothly. I haven't had a lot of problems with it. I did play just a tiny bit while I was setting it up, and just to see if it would actually run properly. And again, like I said, it did seem to run just fine without any major problems. So games like this do work with this tablet, and that is something that I like. Now, if you notice that while I'm sitting here letting this load, the normal home buttons and the back buttons are not available on the screen. They are on the screen normally, not like some phones where they're actually below the screen. If you want to get them on, what I did was swipe down with my finger from the top of the screen. Just simply swiped. Okay. When you swipe, then you can select those buttons and go on back to something else or get out of the game. I have not tried, even though I have Uvu on here, I have not gotten anybody to call yet on that. But I did make a phone call through this tablet. I used Magic Jack to make a free phone call, and my daughter told me it did echo a little bit, but it did play just fine. Now, one thing that I like about this tablet, which the game itself, some of you might be saying, well, you know, it's not my favorite. I don't really care about that game, but that's okay. The Kindle Fire second generation that I had will not play this game. 2 emulators that I have for the Android that I have on my desktop computer would not load this game. My Samsung Galaxy S2 would not load this game, but this tablet loads this game. I don't know why the other tablets wouldn't. Perhaps they weren't updated as far as this one is. Perhaps there's something to do with the graphic speed and capabilities of this tablet that are different and just not the same as the other tablets and devices that I have. But it will function on this tablet just fine. One thing that I suggest very highly is that you invest in the time to install some applications for boosting your phone, such as Clean Sweep. This will allow you to make some modifications to the battery drain and extend the life of your battery. When I first started using this, I was getting a battery life expectancy of 2.5 to 3 hours. When I started using the Clean Sweep program to start boosting apps, shutting down background apps, and adjusting the drain on the battery, I actually boosted that up to, so far I've seen it as high as 5 hours available on the battery. For me, that's pretty good. I would also suggest when you're using this tablet, or even any tablet for that matter, if you don't have to have Wi-Fi on, don't have Wi-Fi on. If you don't have to have Bluetooth on at the time, don't have Bluetooth. Don't have any service that you don't need on. Location services, turn those things off when you don't need them. And if this is a tablet and not your own telephone, turn on airplane mode. That keeps it from searching for Wi-Fi signals or Bluetooth or anything like that, and does help extend the life of your battery quite a bit. There's one feature on here, and I mentioned it in my review, and I don't have headphones in here right now, but the FM radio, okay, it does say I have to have headphones, and I'm not going to do that right now, but it does play FM radio over the tablet, which is kind of a neat little thing. I have not yet tested out the GPS to its full extent although I did put up Google Maps and I was able to come up with the exact location of my home. Even though the address was incorrect, I was able to zoom in on my home, which I thought was kind of nice. So I would say something seems to be working right. Other than that, everything I've tested on this tablet has performed as I expected it to, which was great. I really don't see anything here that I would say is a really big mess. I mean, everything appears to take pictures well. It does, as I mentioned before, have two cameras. One of them is a front screen camera, which the first time I took pictures, that's what I got, but I also happened to have been with a colored hood over the light that I was using. The picture, however, I think turned out okay. I don't mind a little orange face there. The back camera, or the rear camera, which is the higher resolution camera, it looks grainier, but then the subjects were further away and I didn't have a light turned on. So that didn't come out quite as smoothly as I want. And there's me with my hair uncombed. Not such a flattering picture. Again, it's not a bad view. It's not a bad camera. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. All in all, I think this is a great bargain. This is a great price. It's a great device. One thing that I'll, before I finish, mention, the same place where you plug in your micro USB cord for powering the device, or for, or I should say charging it, or for connecting it to the computer, you can also hook up a micro USB keyboard to it, a micro USB mouse to it, a micro USB host adapter where you could plug in a full-size USB device to it. You can have a mouse running on here. You could have hard drives of other sizes hooked up to there. Wow. You know, all of this for right around $100. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Lightweight, affordable, portable, a great bargain, a great price. I think you'll really enjoy this tablet.